Take these sore shoulders and minds, take these mystical alibis. I wanna know what I didn't know before. All the possible dimensions, all the broken-hearted tensions. On the way to you, I am lost. On the way to you, I am lost. You wanna see and be impossibly the one you can't be. Listen carefully. Imagine what's inside as you on the way, lost. On the
On the way, with one card swiped and 2 feet through the door, screeching metal grips me and I'm intertwined with it all. Grandpa was the kind of person who watched for glimmers and fluorescent lights and sat and stared until the nights brought out the best in a cross-legged stranger across from him. We'd take the queue until it couldn't go any further, halted by Ferris wheel, funnel-caked, fishy air, frothy moments on the shore. Just a month in, and this train is still a roller coaster to me. Ghosts and flickers and strangers' smirks leave me feeling like the only person in the world. And cold orange seats feel like nothing more than a helpless feet in the smallest big city I've ever known. You know what he told me against a backdrop of blue and white sky? This city will scream insults in innocent ears and fold you in two if you let it. But it'll loosen its grip if you give it time and thought. The stone-cold passerby melts toward downtown where his kid waits. The empty-eyed girl swaying alone with every bump so she doesn't have to sit with the rest of it all. That's what he told me, as waves folded behind him and candied lights reflected off his eyes that saw everything. It feels awkward here, jam-packed in a crowded haze, one and one and one among other ones, pushing shoulders so far away from the sun I can hardly remember the time of day. Conversations paint themselves together over blank slate silences and blank stares turned upside down, because what are we doing here anyway? In a permanent state of unable to stay, I wish I knew what they were all thinking, where they were all going, what they were all doing with their day, and I wonder what he would say seeing me flow alone through the veins of a never-ending track. As the queue hurled itself towards Atlantic Avenue, Grandpa traced a finger along the map's stretched-out yellow line curled to the right like a golden ribbon. All the way to the very last stop, he'd tell me, as our train became woven through sky and tunnel and sky and tunnel. and as we pushed closer to the expansive horizon, I remember the little boy watching the clouds shapeshift, and the old couple touching shoulders, and the friends turning red as laughter filled every inch of the train car, and Grandpa smiled at me because we were part of whatever this was too, in all of its chaos and magic. And somehow I'm here now, watching new blurs of passengers pass without him tracing golden ribbons next to me. The golden ribbons and cold orange seats bleed into a sun I can almost barely stand to look at, making this train almost barely bearable, and its fluorescent glow almost barely warm. The train is flying above ground now, and the tiniest fiery flicker of a sliver inside me feels less lost as I sail over the bridge and hover past millions of buildings and shadows and people I'll never know. But I breathe in the truth that maybe, just maybe, I know the way. A month in, and it's all still a roller coaster to me. But there's no whiplash this time, only sparkles of lifted gravity, and it's all a thrill in the most lift your arms and scream with joy kind of way. I stand right at the edge of where he brought me all those years ago, cradled by sandy expanses and a world bigger than this city could ever claim to be. I find myself standing here because I was brought here through an intricate underground map whose anatomy folds over itself again and again and again and again, like arteries of beautiful patterns. I'm here again, and salt water blankets itself over the tops of my feet because I made it all the way to the very last stop. And the city, all behind me now, stands tall and proud, loosening its grip and glimmering close.